So now we are going to create modules in our project. So basically we're going to take this main.tf file, which basically has this list of resources that we're creating here, and we're going to basically divide that into reusable modules instead of having one single file with all the configuration in it. So the first thing we're going to do is create a branch for modules. And currently I'm actually inside the deploy to EC2 branch. This is where we have the clean state without provisioners. And I'm going to create a branch from here. And I'm going to call it modules. So now we are in a new branch. We can do whatever here without breaking the other branches. And what I'm going to do now, first before creating modules, is to start cleaning up my main.tf file. So it is actually a best practice and a common way of writing Terraform configuration file to separate the outputs into output.tf file, variables into variable.tf file, as well as providers into provider.tf file. So you basically end up with just the resource definitions inside your main.tf. And that is actually a common practice. So we're going to do that inside our root folder, which is also a root module, as we already learned. So by default, we already have a root module, which is the folder where we're creating the Terraform configuration files. So inside here, we're going to create outputs.tf, and all of the output configurations will basically live there. And this is a nice way of separating and listing the similar resources in one location, because as I said, if main.tf actually gets really long and you're just looking for output in order to modify something, you'll have to scroll through this list and find your output definition between those resource configurations. So it actually makes sense to list them into a separate file so you know where to find the outputs. Another thing that also can be extracted are the variable definitions. So we already have the variables file, which is tf-vars. So now we are going to create variables.tf. And this is going to be the place for the variable definitions. Like this. And the good thing in Terraform is that we don't have to link these files to each other. We don't have to actually reference the variables.tf and outputs.tf from the main.tf file, because Terraform knows that these files belong together and it kind of grabs everything and interprets everything and links them together. So we don't have to cross-reference them like we do in some programming languages, for example. This is more straightforward here. And as I said, we could also have providers file that holds all the providers. However, we just have one here, so we can actually leave it at that and actually have it in the main.tf file. And now we have a structure, which is again common when you write Terraform configuration, that gives us main.tf file, as well as outputs.tf file and variables.tf file. The namings are just the standard. You can actually name all these files whatever you want. These are just standards to name them like this. And these three files actually also happen to be the common way of structuring modules.